Hi everyone. In this recorded game review, we're going to be looking at Freyr versus Poseidon. I'm the one playing Poseidon, and I had a lot of great games this weekend. This weekend was actually a lot of fun. I was able to play a ton of games, and we had a lot of fun. But of the games that I played, the one that was actually very eye-opening and inspiring to a degree was actually this one. Now, the reason why I say that is because I've always put Freyr on the weaker side of things, and I do think he's a little bit weak in some regards. However, in some matchups, like this one right here, he feels like an absolute beast. So I was completely wrong about this. And Bones, who's goes by the name of Keto, he has 3 accounts in the top 10. He actually plays Freyr in such a way that it was actually quite difficult for me as a Poseidon player to do anything. Now, we played 3 games, and of the 3 games, I won one, and he won two. So the reason I'm casting the one I won was mostly because it was more action packed. But I think that this is kind of the way that you're going to have to play Freyr going forward. I was trying a lot of different things in the other matchups. I was going for two TCs and stuff like that, but it doesn't work. I think to kind of be able to beat Freyr, you kind of have to kill him somewhat early on, especially as Greek. I don't think you can really contest this civilization in the later stages of the game. He just becomes too powerful in terms of not only economy but military as well, since he gets all these technologies at 50% of the cost. So moving on, that's my little introduction. I want to show you guys the way he plays Freyr because I think it's actually pretty impressive. So starts off with the basic stuff, just hand axe, pickaxe, and then he gets up to age 2 around 4 minutes and 15 seconds or so. Um, Very smart of him to actually wall this way. He makes sure that the centaur can't really harass his gold. And a really nice wall right here as well. So the early stages of Freyr are instrumental in actually being able to achieve victory, right? You want to make sure that you can survive until the later stages of the game so that you can use your power spike and win from there on out. But anyways, what he did here is some amazing walls with buildings and a mixture of gate and like wooden walls as well. And then he created a little bit of a choke point here. So nice of him to do that. Now he's gearing up for a 2 racks play. So this is what he does. He goes for 2 raxes and then he goes for berserks from these 2 raxes. He doesn't go for raiding cavalry or anything like that. And the reason why is with these berserks, firstly, he repels all the aggression that the opponent has. Berserks are pretty decent overall in terms of actually being able to contend with the Poseidon army. And then after he's able to kind of stabilize, like he's able to push me back, and I don't have that many units that can contest the Berserk, Sorcerer, and the Draugr. Then he gets his fortress up because that's his god power, the Asgardian Bastion. And after he gets the Asgardian Bastion, he just starts jumping into getting town centers. Freyr with a forward town center is really dangerous because, as you guys know, Freyr has Gulen Bursty, which is really strong. So you can see that as soon as he got a little bit of extra space, he threw down his Asgardian fortress. And by putting this fortress down, now he's able to get this hunt and this hunt right here. He's in a terrific position. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it's actually 8:20 and I have to go to work in like 40 minutes. So we need to go a little bit quicker with this analysis. But you can see the Berserks are actually doing really well versus the Hippias and the Centaur at this point. So you can say, oh, you can make hoplites, but even hoplites, he has 2 raxes, he can go throwing axemen, right? So I can go hoplites versus Toxicate in age 2 don't seem to be doing that well at the moment. I think they only kind of become good once you start getting ballistics into the mix and more technologies and more attack. That's how I feel at the moment. That could change in a future video or a future patch, but at the moment, it doesn't seem like going Toxicate early on or is kind of the way to play. So I'm frantically looking for damage, right? Trying to find some sort of damage that I can enact on this Freyr player, but really it's very difficult. Look at the way he's walled up his base, and this is the part that I've never seen before. He actually gets, which you can see it in the tooltip right here. He's getting Stonewall. So Stonewall, without having siege on your hands, you're not going to be able to push into it at all. And Freyr gets this so cheap because it's only 100, right? For other civs, it's going to be double. So now there's no way to attack into this. So I'm looking for how can I do damage. But luckily I was able to catch a couple of his units that were running around. He should probably not have done this. Big mistake from him. And I got an entire army kill right there. You can see that I defended, made a wall, artificial wall with buildings and stuff like that. Was getting my hunt. And I have H3 that's just hit right now. But even with H3, like my goal is to be able to do damage because now he's on 2 town centers, right? And he's just going to get further and further ahead. So I need to find a way for me to do damage to this the Freyr player. Because if I don't, well, you guys know he's going to go to Mythic at 50% reduction on all his techs, and he's going to steamroll me later on to the game. So I took a lot of risks here, right? For example, this one is a pretty big risk. I'm trying to run into his base and kill villagers and stuff, but it's not even that. Like it didn't really do anything. It didn't work at all. So here I'm retreating, and thankfully he didn't wall this and he didn't wall this, or else I would be stuck. So I just quickly got out of here. And, here I took a really good fight. I think I took a good fight at some point. Maybe it's not this one, but it's coming where I took one really nice fight and I was able to swing the tide, which you're going to see very soon. Um, and it might be coming up very soon. But in any case, I have to be the one doing damage. If you're the player that's in a position where you have to do something or else your opponent wins, it's never a good position to be in, right? And versus 2 Hellfords and a Gullinbursty, how are you going to do damage, right? It's so difficult to do damage. So here I'm trying with all my might to push into him, but it's becoming harder and harder. So the only way that it's going to work is if he somehow, you know, messes up to a degree. But you can see that his economy is not actually doing that well either. Like he's really low on a lot of resources. So, but here the Gullinbursty comes out, and I was forced to retreat. I should have retreated. I put ceasefire down to kind of counter the Gullinbursty, but I forgot that the Gullinbursty lasts so much longer than the ceasefire. So I should have retreated this. I don't know why I'm still sticking around. There's no way that you can fight a Gullinbursty and an army that's substituting with it. So I retreated for the time being. Once again, like this position is just incredibly difficult to push into. Luckily for me, he didn't get crenellations, which is going to give him bonus damage versus my cavalry. So now here, another thing I could have done was rotate my army here, but if he sees me rotating my army, which is a very, very long way, he's just going to retreat here and then go here or something like that, right? He has food in his base. He has a ton of food on this map. There's a ton of gold, right? He has gold here as well, which is almost done. But so I did rotate my army at this point, and I got a couple picks. So the key is if I can't do damage here, which I really couldn't do anything, then you try to rotate and come around the other side. The biggest difficulty for me in this game is trying to be able to find damage. You can see he's on his way to Mythic now too, right? Even though like I've been pressuring them the whole game long, he's almost in Mythic. So I was probably losing out on those trades. It wasn't really favoring me, but I did keep his Vil count quite low, so that kind of did assist me in that regard. And here I got a really nice engage. You can see that I pulled the Hippias back, his infantry came in, which is lots of herdmen, and then I switched the Hippaspis to take out all of those guys. So I was able to win even when he casted his god power. So that was pretty good on my end. So you can see that I'm winning like all of these fights, right? I'm winning so many fights. I've kept his Vil count low, and I'm still like, I don't feel confident that I'm winning this game. And for rightly so, you're gonna see that the tides are gonna turn very, very quickly, right? Here's the Nidhogg, and one shot from the Nidhogg actually like just decimates the entire force. Um, and now he's in Mythic, and he's already equalized in terms of military. He's slightly, or pretty much neck and neck in terms of villagers. You can see I've been on 1 TC the whole game, just raiding him as much as I could, but it's realistically, it's not much going on at the moment. I can't really do anything into him. Here I hit him with a really nice earthquake, and he had tons of houses here. So this actually did quite a bit of damage. Um, But you can see that still, like, even with this, I don't really think I can engage into him because now he has two rock giants and a fire giant, right? And Greek have the one disadvantage of only having four heroes. So once this fire giant count starts racking up, or the stone rock giant count racks up, it's gonna get pretty tough. So here I'm gonna go. I thought he was hunting here, but I guess not. So then I'm gonna go from here to straight into here, and at the same time I'm distracting his army. So while I'm preparing for this Hippias raid, I'm just keeping his army occupied so he doesn't think about what's coming. And I hit him with a really nice backstab at this point, and he once again lost more villagers because he had to convert them into berserks, right? But you can see I'm being pushed back at this point, and things are not looking that good because look at his army size versus mine, even though he has less villagers, right? He has pretty much the same armory as me, but he doesn't have like this is a game when I think he kind of screwed up. But imagine if he played this without losing all these villagers and all of this map control. I don't think I could really do anything to this. I kept his vill count low, which was one of my saving graces at this point. But you can see this fight right here. With all of these rock giants, you don't stand a chance. He completely melted my entire army. I thought I would win that fight. I thought it was somewhat equal, but not really. And I think Polythemus, I don't know how to say his name, I'm sorry. The H4 Greek hero. He's doesn't do that well versus these giants. These guys just completely wreck him. So now he won the fight, even though I thought it was pretty even, like even on even on upgrade counts. And then my army was somewhat countering his too because I had Hippaspis. But once Norse starts spamming all these myth units, you can't really deal with it that well with Greek because you only have four heroes. Now, at this point, I was actually ready to resign. I'm like, damn, I can't win a single fight. But then I realized, like, maybe I shouldn't be fighting uh, this army with melee units. I should probably mix in Toxote at this point. And one of the best upgrades you can get for Toxote is Shafts of Plague from Artemis, which gives you divine damage over 6 seconds, right? You can see it's only 1.5, but still, this like adds up, right? Toxote are already good by themselves, so once they have divine damage into the mix, it becomes even better. So I made a tech switch at this point. I probably should have done this a little bit sooner. And I think this tech switch kind of caught him off guard. But anyways, that's not even the point. The point is, I don't think that I played this poorly at any stage of the game. I was raiding his vills. I was on top of him. I was pressuring him. I had really good raids. Like I took out this TC. And I even took out a lot of his armies multiple times. So I killed his army here and I killed his army here. And I was in a solid position all game long. But no matter what I did, I just felt like I had no lead in this game because his army, well, A, just kept on winning, and B, now he's in a point where he's going to be able to just get all of these upgrades for half the price. Whereas I'm like champion upgrade for him costs what? 250, 200, so it's super cheap. Whereas for me, I don't even have champion right now on my archers. I'm probably trying to get it, but yeah, you see, like here, I'm trying to get heavy right now, and it costs more than his champion. So he's on champion units where I'm just struggling to get even heavy archers at this point. Even with the Vil lead, he's pressuring into me. Now, I think the tech switch for me going into chariot archers kind of caught him a little bit off guard, especially since he didn't have a really heavy food economy. He doesn't have that many farms. He's just relying on the map. So he's not able to just tech switch into raiding cavalry instantaneously, right? So that kind of puts him at a little bit of a disadvantage. The fact that I tech switch at the time that I did and went from switching from Hippias and Hippaspis into archers. So now the army count is still against me, 130 to 100, right? So it's still really rough. And like I'm not winning by any means. But now that I have archers, I can kind of kite with them. I can make him come into me. So he has a lot of tools at his disposal to kind of deal with this, but I don't think he was ready for it. So I kind of got him a little bit off guard. If he had a ton more fire giants, or if he had switched a lot more to Huskarls at this point, he would have been okay. But this kind of really caught him off guard. He didn't expect all these Toxote, and his army was full of throwing axemen and berserks. So I got another win right here. but now he's adding in some rock giants. I think he should have definitely done fire giants because he does have access to hell, right? So instead of these rock giants, I think definitely gone fire giants would have been better for him. But these guys are still very, very good too. Um, so yeah, so continue on. He is still, I think now the game is starting to even up a little bit. So now I have equal military to him, or not equal. He still has more than me, but I think I have better units, right? He didn't even get all his upgrades here. So whereas I have more upgrades than him, which is not, shouldn't be the case. So if I was the reason why I personally think that Freyr played this way, the way he played at the very start, where you go berserks, you go the Asgardian Bastion, you make town centers, whenever there's a little bit of downtime. I don't think that Poseidon will ever be in a favorable position. Um, I think that Freyr is actually very, very good into the Greek civilizations. Maybe not so much against Zeus. I'm not too sure about that yet, but definitely into Poseidon just feels very, very rough, right? I do have a better understanding of this matchup now after having played these games. Like, I know that you don't want to probably go 2 TCs into this. You probably want to stay on 1 TC. But the issue with 1 TC, as you guys can see here, is even though I was able to play 1 TC and I thought I caught him with a lot of really good raids and stuff like that, it's still pretty much an even game. At this point, I'm winning, but the only reason I won is because he wasn't ready for the tech switch into Toxicate, and he doesn't have the food economy to just mass produce raiding cavalry. If he had the food economy in store for raiding cavalry, I don't think this army would do anything versus him. The fact that he didn't was my main success story, right? And I think this might be the last battle. So yeah, so anyways, the reason I'm showing you this game is because all this time we've been saying that Freyr is on the weaker side. And I do think that Freyr is on the weaker side in some matchups. However, people are starting to catch on, people are starting to learn. And the player here, Keto is his name, he's actually, I think, perfected this matchup to a certain degree. And it feels very, very rough playing into Freyr with Poseidon. I do have some better understanding, as I said before, into this matchup, so I will be playing it a little bit differently going forward. But I think this is going to be This is going to be the start of a saga. So like, this is going to be the dawn of Freyr. You might think that Freyr was weak all this time, and I did tell you that Freyr's reason why Freyr is weak is because he's a hard civilization to play, and I do believe that he's still probably one of the top two hardest civilizations. This is the first probably being set. Um, I think that's going to start. Well, that's the reason why he's being held down at the moment. I think in future patches we're gonna have to really be very careful with how we perceive Freyr. So something I wanted to show you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I am gonna go get ready for work, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.